Good Saturday morning. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We're here to talk a little bit more about the chance for more strong to severe storms today into the region, especially given what we've already seen with the flooding and tornado reports from yesterday. Before we get started too much further along, some housekeeping notes. We'll be here all day long watching things. If there is severe weather, one of the good things you can do is download the WCIA 3 weather app. It's a great app to have and will send you push alerts if there's any live coverage like there is now or any warnings or watches issued in your area. In addition, we'll be watching for the crawl on the bottom of the screen. You can watch CBS. You'll see those alerts scroll by if they do come through. And we encourage you to be weather aware today from noon until 7 o'clock for severe weather. Flooding threat, though, we continue to be weather aware the entire 24-hour period today, even into tomorrow. As we're logging on here, lots of folks checking in from across the area. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. In addition, if you have any questions, let us know that. I'll take some time at the end of this to answer those questions. And then finally, if you have any rainfall reports, we'll take a look at some of the rain and the flooding damage that's happened. We're looking for those rainfall reports from you. Please send those in to us. We'll be here monitoring those in the chat. Let's go and get down to business here and talk about some of these rainfall totals we're seeing. First off, this is a map of the area showing you the colors. Where you see those colors that are more oranges, reds, and pinks, that's when we start looking at 4, 5, even 6 inches of rainfall. And I'll zoom in particular here. One of the harder hit areas, the US 136 corridor near Bloomington, Hayworth, and Downs. As I query some of these numbers here, we're talking 6, even 7 inches of rain being reported in parts of McLean, northern DeWitt, far northern Piatt counties, and even down towards Rantoul and areas. Radar has estimated that we've seen some areas of 3 to 4 inches over there. So a lot of rain has fallen in the last 24 hours in these areas. Some notes, Interstate 55 is actually closed right now southwest of Bloomington. Part of the interstate simply washed away. I'll show you a photo of that here in a second. That photo coming from the Funks Grove Fire Department, and you can see the concrete in pieces on Interstate 55 there near Funks Grove. That's southwest of Bloomington, a few miles. The interstate closed between the McLean exit and the Bloomington normal exit. In addition, US 136 between McLean and Hayworth also closed due to high water and flood damage in that area. There is a flash flood watch that remains in effect for the area. This goes all the way through at least tomorrow morning. We think it may be extended with the chance for heavy rain continuing. More areas of 2 to 4 inches of rainfall possible in these green counties over the next 48 hours. Some spots will see a little less, particularly towards I-70, but we think areas that have been pounded with rain likely to see more here into the region. Storm tracker Doppler has been quiet so far today. I expect that to change. Already starting to see some of the sunshine break on through. That's going to help with instability for our next round of strong to severe storms. And we may see more photos like this one come in from noon till 7 o'clock. This was last night at about 5:30 near Mahomet, looking northeast of Mahomet towards Dewey. Clear tornado down here. This was one of 3 tornadoes reported in central Illinois. There may be an additional 2 that are looked into. The reports of tornadoes we have, 1 touchdown near Mahomet. There may be a second one. We're looking into that. The National Weather Service is, I should say. Another tornado touchdown near Argenta. There may have been a second one near Cisco. And then also a tornado crossed Interstate 57 last night near Danforth, doing some minor damage 2 miles south of town. No injuries, damage very minor from these tornadoes, but more of these are expected as we go into today. And so we'll be watching very closely for that. Here's our severe weather impacts graphic. We've been using this broad brush to talk about the severe threat for the last couple of days, and it's been pretty efficient here. Mainly the threats will be for wind and hail. Flooding threat is high. We've already seen some areas in the last 72 hours between 6 and 10 inches of rain, particularly along and north of Interstate 72. That's closer to, say, Lincoln, Bloomington, parts of DeWitt County in towards Farmer City. I've seen those highest totals. I've got those rainfall totals on the website. I also have storm photos from yesterday on the website and the app for you. The tornado threat today, we continue to advertise as low, but the more I look at things, the more I think this may creep up a little more as we move on forth here. The latest from the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted part of central Illinois in a level 2 slight risk. And that's mainly going to be for damaging winds, but the tornado threat cannot be ruled out in this area here, particularly from Springfield to Decatur to Champaign to Hoopeston, Gibson City, Farmer City, Clinton, Lincoln, Bloomington. Watseka, and Pontiac. Those are the areas we'll primarily watch, but most all of us still do have at least a low-end chance for some severe weather today. Our tornado risk scale is up to a 4 in that yellow area. We think from 12 o'clock until 7 o'clock is the best chance to see a couple of tornadoes in the region, so we'll be monitoring that very closely. One reason why is, first off, as we go into the afternoon here, some of that instability picking up, driven not only by sunshine, but also by how moist, how humid the atmosphere is. Very tropical air mass in place. That also adds to the instability today. And then we're bringing in just a touch of wind shear overhead through the afternoon and evening hours, and that will couple together to allow us for at least a couple of tornadoes possible, particularly on the Highway 54 corridor from Springfield through Clinton, Farmers City, Gibson City up towards Iroquois County, and about a 30-mile radius from that, including Champaign and Bloomington, through about 7 o'clock tonight. Then instability wanes, and so does the wind shear. I think tonight then severe storms not as significant of a threat. The thing to note here is while instability generally comes from sunshine, I'd be remiss if I don't mention here, look at our dew point values. Low 70s, temperatures are in the upper 70s here. That's a sign of a lot of tropical moisture in place. That moisture can add to our instability even if we don't get sunshine. So concern not really there, that instability going to be a problem. We'll have it. The atmosphere looks to be unstable again today, and that also will allow for some really low clouds, these storms sitting close to the ground, much like that Danforth tornado was. And so if we're having clouds with little distance between the ground and the base of the clouds, the closer that sits to the ground, if there's any rotation, it's a lot easier to touch down. And so that's why we think today a couple of tornadoes do appear likely in parts of central Illinois into northeastern Illinois and northwest Indiana. We'll be watching again from 12 till 7 o'clock today. Here's a look at future track. Notice by 11 a.m., still some pockets of sunshine breaking on through. Temperatures should still get into the middle 80s out there today. By noon and onward, then, we expect to see some of these pop-up showers and storms. They're small cells, but those cells will have the chance to rotate and bring at least some damaging winds and a tornado or two into the area. So we're going to watch it closely and keep you updated. As we get to 3, 4 o'clock, then, a couple of these storms are in clusters. This right here, I don't want to look at this exactly and say there's going to be a storm from Champaign to Pontiac at 4 o'clock, but we look at the trend here. There are some individual cells, but also more of a complex here may allow for that damaging wind threat to continue. And look where the trend has been for rain and storms to pass through areas that have seen significant flooding. McLean County doesn't need any more rain, and they could get another 2 to 4 inches there. Even DeWitt, Macon, Logan, Sangamon, Champaign, any areas that see these storms, they're going to drop a lot of rainfall. In fact, McLean County last night had a number of water rescues, and they're still moving through the county to assess the damage up from the flooding there. So we're going to watch it. Notice then by 8, 9 o'clock, we still have showers and storms in the area. The instability wanes, the severe threat comes down, and I think by 7, 8 o'clock, we should be starting to transition away from severe weather and getting into a more flooding event again continuing to tonight as that complex of showers and storms remains over the same area. So tonight then, really I think by the 10 o'clock news we'll be done for the severe threat for sure. It may be as early as 7 o'clock. We'll watch it and keep you updated, but still rounds of rain and storms with thunder, lightning, and heavy rain expected into the overnight hours tonight. I'll mention tomorrow, more rounds of rain and storms expected, and we may see some more severe weather tomorrow as well. File that away in the back of your mind. This is the storm outlook for Sunday. Tomorrow, a level 1 now, but they're monitoring about upgrading to a level 2, perhaps somewhere in the area. We'll take it day by day, take each round of storms as it comes, but just file away that tomorrow we may have some more severe weather into the region. Rainfall, though, may be the big story here. Future track through Monday morning, showing around an inch of rain here from Taylorville to Champaign, with higher amounts towards I-55, lesser amounts towards I-70. That will be the theme through much of the week as this stalled boundary hangs on in. But what we expect is that the rain will continue Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And when we add all of those days here, this is over the next 7 days. We may add another 2 to 5 inches of rain area-wide with locally higher amounts. Already, we've had areas in the last 72 hours of 4 to 8 inches. That's not good. Some very significant flooding ongoing and still problems in McLean, DeWitt, parts of far northern Piatt counties. Even Logan County has some issues over by Hartswick, Emden from this. So if we add more rain, not good here in central Illinois. Real quick check here. Temperatures again now. We'll do a quick currents analysis and then answer any questions. We're sitting in the upper 70s and low 80s out there. The heat index values will be feeling like the low 90s into the afternoon. And you see when we start hitting those low 90s in the heat index values, that's when showers and storms pop here. About noon till say 7 o'clock. Once you get some rain, it'll cool you down, but until then, another hot and humid day expected in central Illinois. That's what I have for you. We're going to work behind the scenes and update our web stories. You can go to our website, WCIA.com. Check our social media as well. More information on yesterday's tornadoes, photos, and video available there. We also have available information about the flooding and road closures in McLean County. And there were also road closures in Morgan County. I'll mention that as well last night. I think those have cleared up mostly over there, but McLean County still I-55 closed southwest of Bloomington, US 136 closed between Hayworth and McLean. And we'll continue to watch here into the region. A lot of folks saying basements have flooded too. So we'll watch today. The tornado threat advertised as low, but understand some of those ingredients coming together where it may creep up a little bit, particularly north of Interstate 72, 74 from noon until 7 o'clock. I'm going to check those questions now on social media. Thanks for joining us. We hope we don't have to be back here until 6 o'clock for the newscast, but if there is a need, you can count on your WCIA 3 weather team to cover you on digital, TV, social media, and more for the severe threat throughout the day today, and we'll keep you updated with that. All right, we're going to switch things over here and answer questions. Some of you probably hopping off now. That's fine. We'll keep you updated. If you're asking a question, pop it in now. I'll scroll all the way back to the beginning and keep you updated here and answer those into the area. Jason, I don't know about you all, but I really missed the nice weather from earlier last week. I'm already getting tired of the daily rain and storms. You and me both. The rain and storms will continue, and as long as we have this boundary stalled in place here, there's a ridge of high pressure to the south and east, and that boundary really can't go anywhere. Because of that, the rain and storms stick around, and it may even be into the 4th of July weekend before we exit any of these rain chances and get some drier weather in. The good news is at least we're not seeing the extreme heat, no 90s and 100s in the 7-day forecast and beyond. Heat index value does feel like that today. The actual air temperature a little shy. So it's a humid, warm air mass, but the extreme heat at least is maybe one good thing, if we can say that from these storms. Belinda's saying we had a tornado out here last night. A number of folks shared photos. You can check those photos and more out on our social media. I'll show you another photo again of the tornado near Mahomet. And this was last night, a photo sent in by Nicole about 5:30 when that was reported. And we also had, of course, that water damage. Oh, hang on, I broke something. Here we go. We also had that water damage near Funk's Grove on the interstates, closed indefinitely. We're working with IDOT to find out more about that. More questions, lots of folks checking in from all over. We appreciate it. Report of 3 inches of rain in Savoy last night. I believe it. Lots of those Kokoraz rain gauges in the 72 hours have been 3 to 4 inches here across the area. Penny reports 4.5 inches. Rossville got 1 inch. Potomac, if I recall correctly, was about 1 to 2 inches last night in that area based on what I saw. Toledo down in Cumberland County has 1 inch. Kathy saying over 6 inches in Bloomington. Yeah, there's been some reports of 7 inches from spotters and reports there. Beth Ann saying it is like soup out there. Yeah, that moisture is really, I think, helping with that threat for a few tornadoes today. So we're going to watch it closely. Karen has 4 inches in the rain gauge. And Mark lives south of Champaign, over 6 inches in his range gauge. The sump pump's working overtime. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. Kevin, asking about Broadlands. We are concerned about some of those flood-prone areas. We know the Embarrass River often floods, and that'll be watched closely here. A couple inches of rain will bring those water levels back up here. Julie asking, will it ever stop? Kevin pressed the rain button on the forecast in the weather machine in the back office, and we can't get it unstuck. And I think someone was doing the rain dance a couple weeks ago, too. So if anything, I will say this. The drought monitor, and I don't have that with me. I could probably pull it up. we'll probably be able to stick a fork in the drought monitor for a while after this week. I mean, these rainfall totals are quite impressive. Pasodum, 5 to 10 o'clock. We think there's rounds of rain and storms in the region, Jacob, and that very well may center itself over Champaign County. So Tolono, I know they've got the Tolono Fun Days. I'm concerned that we may have some areas that are washed out. My best advice is, a couple of hours before, wait and see where those storms are popping. We'll know a whole lot more for the fireworks tonight by about 4 o'clock. If that boundary shifts to the north 10, 15 miles, that carries the heaviest rain with it. We're really delicately balancing a fine line. I really think that many spots probably going to see some of those fireworks and outdoor events canceled. And really, I think that's going to be a problem. Anita asking about the Danforth tornado was an EF2. The National Weather Service has not surveyed it yet. Likely the tornado will be rated weak, but we cannot give a rating on that yet until the National Weather Service gets out there. Zachary asking, is there any video of that? I've posted some new video this morning on my Facebook page, Meteorologist Jacob Dickey. I put it on Twitter as well. You can go check that out. We also showed that on the morning show this morning. We'll have it again in the newscast at 6 o'clock. Some pretty impressive video into the area. Hayworth, no more rain. I tell you what, Debbie, I hope you guys are doing okay out there. The flooding, a big problem. I'm sure emergency crews in that area have been busy throughout the night. Julie asking, why are we having this weather? Is it ever going to stop? One of the reasons we have it here, and I'll pull up, in fact, let me first off, I didn't get a chance to show this. These are some of the 24-hour rainfall totals. Hayworth, 6.35 inches of rain. Downs, 5.7. Ashcombe and Iroquois County, 5.5. Hoopston, about 3 inches. Cisco, just shy of 2. Champaign, just shy of 2, based on the last 24 hours. When you drag it out to the last 72 hours, these are those totals. Farmer City, almost 8 inches of rain. Bloomington, normal, just a little over 7 inches, I should say. And we've got Champaign at about 4 inches in the last 72 hours. We'll add another bit of rain to that. The reason we're dealing with this is that we have a boundary that is in place, and that boundary is stalling in the region. And let me show you here real quick. Let's see, here we go. I'm going to pull this new graphic in. The boundary is stalled in place, and it really sticks around for a while here. And I'm going to switch over to the graphics here. Taking me a second. Sorry, folks. This boundary is holding steady in place. There's a big ridge of high pressure to the south and to the east. And as long as that's the case, it really looks like this boundary is setting itself up right over central Illinois. And that's the focus for a lot of tropical moisture along it. This is Monday. Notice as we move forth in Tuesday and Wednesday, it will wiggle around back and forth. So those rain chances will be spread out a little bit, but the concentration of heavy rain overall seems to be right through the middle of the Corn Belt here in central Illinois. And even Thursday, Friday, finally it starts to move a little more to the south. But here's the thing. Even though the boundary may by Thursday, Friday move to the south, we think into the weekend, behind it there may be a leftover area of low pressure, and that may keep rain chances up into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're going to watch that closely and monitor, but it's definitely worth watching here. Those rain chances may continue for the next 7 to 10 days and beyond. At least the next 7 days look very wet. I'm concerned maybe the 4th of July weekend also going to look a bit wet here. Leroy reporting 3.5 inches last night, 5 inches since Thursday. Joyce says she got 3 inches in Gibson City last night. Donna has a report of 8.5 inches last night between Bloomington and Hayworth. That's where some of the heaviest rainfall totals fell. Some spots didn't get a whole lot here. The airport had 7/10. Gretchen shared that. Gloria, I'd rather have a bit of snow than this. I tell you what, the interesting thing here is that if this was snow, and this is just an analogy, usually we go by a 10-to-1 ratio, 10 inches of snow for every 1 inch of rain. This is going to equate to 20 to 80 inches of snow if it were a snow event. Maybe we just take a little snow, but that's just an interesting fact, a little tidbit there. And then Gretchen has 5 inches over the last 72 hours in Danville into the region. All right, so that seems to be the questions here. Again, some folks may be coming in and out, and that's okay. I'll do a final little update on severe weather here. We continue to watch primarily, I think, from 12 o'clock till 7 o'clock today. Our tornado threat we continue to advertise as low, but I think it's creeping up a little bit more today. Storms also will bring gusty winds, perhaps some hail. The flooding threat, though, has been a big problem, especially in areas from Bloomington, Downs, Hayward, and areas like that. So we're going to watch it closely and keep you updated on that. We'll be in the forecast center all day long. We'll be watching things and have severe weather coverage. Just be weather aware. Make sure you have at least 2 ways to get weather information over the next 48 hours. Weather app. Download the WCIA 3 weather app. Great app to have. We'll send you push alerts to it. You can also download the WCIA 3 news app. And then be sure and have a weather radio. In fact, if you were watching last night, the 10 o'clock news, our weather radio went off here for Champaign County. That was for the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. So this is a great way. The tower is fixed in Champaign County, McLean and DeWitt counties, especially east of Waynesville, east of Kenny in DeWitt County, southeastern McLean County, south and east of Interstate 55, Downs, Hayworth, Leroy, Cropsey, Colfax, Anchor, Ellsworth, Saybrook, towards Farmers City, Clinton, and places like that. The Bloomington radio is down. It's offline indefinitely. You'll need to change your weather radio in parts of McLean and DeWitt counties from channel 6 to channel 7. Fairly easy to do that. If you go to our website, click on the weather tab, there's actually a weather radio page we have which will help walk you through that process, and we'll be sure and keep you updated on that. But we'll be watching today, primarily, again, today's event from noon till 7 o'clock. With the chance for a couple of tornadoes, some more flooding, and some damaging winds. That's all I have for you. We'll work behind the scenes and keep an eye on things. In the meantime, we will catch you later. I hope I don't have to talk to you until 6 o'clock tonight on the newscast. But if not, we'll be here on digital. We'll be here as well on TV if need be for the chance for some severe weather today. Take care, stay safe, stay weather aware, and we'll